Hello everyone, my name is Kat White. Today is World Suicide Prevention Day and I want to talk to you about hope. Now, hope isn't always the first word that comes to mind when you think about suicide. According to the World Health Organization, over 700,000 people take their own lives each year. That's approximately one person every 40 seconds. 1 in 5 people live with thoughts of suicide, and suicide is one of the leading causes of death for people aged 15 to 29. But there is another story, and I want to tell that story. I want to tell the story of people who chose to look up. So I'm here today with my friend Richie Driss, and we're going to talk to 3 people who were feeling down but chose to look up.
Your background is I think, is very, very important to this conversation.
Yeah, I didn't think when I signed on the dotted line as a young man, 17 in Birmingham, that within sort of a couple of years I would be front line. The Falklands came along. We were doing things that a young man doesn't expect to be doing. It wasn't a question. We just did what we were told to do, and consequently, lived with the fallout after that.
What brings you here? You're an author, aren't you?
I'm writing my debut novel.
Cool. What made you want to do this?
The last year, for about 6 months, I was struggling a lot with alcohol. Mm-hmm. I think it's a symptom of PTSD, which you feel ashamed to talk about. And I probably wouldn't openly say that with my friends. Mm-hmm. I couldn't get one foot in front of the other. I ended up in hospital with an overdose. I don't tell people, but I need to now. I'm writing my book because I need to tell people that you can get back from the worst times possible.
I lost my dad to suicide 9 years ago.
I've struggled with, particularly when I was a teenager, depression and had suicidal thoughts when I was younger. But I think since losing my dad, it's definitely still a returning thought that I've experienced.
In my experiences, there was a trigger where I knew that something wasn't right and I had to get myself sorted.
I was in Zurich visiting my mum at the height of kind of prescription meds addiction, and my sister brought it up and they said, rehab. And I said, oh, no, that's weak. And what will people think of me? Mm-hmm. I can't go back from that because it's now a stamp. And my dad said, you don't want to get rid of it. It's strong to go to rehab. And it did take me kind of a while to get used to the idea of being a person that's been to rehab.
I mean, mine was back in 2013. It was a normal day in January. The sun was shining, everything was good, and my wife went off to work. Sort of lunchtime, I decided that it would be time to go for a long walk and maybe end my life. Because of the background of being from an ex-serviceman and being a male, I'm not going to weaken, so I'll put it to the side and go, no, I don't, I can deal with this, I can deal with this, I can deal with this, then consequently, actually, I can't deal with this, right, let's I thought about it and made the good decision not to make or take that action.
I just remember looking at the sunset and being like, I am so grateful I'm here. And there's so many of those moments that I've had in those 9 years where I just stop and I kind of pinch myself and go, thank you for carrying on.
What would you say to anyone that is in a dark place and watching this at the moment?
It's good to share, it's good to speak, and we see it all the time. I'm guilty of that. I kept it all to myself. Nobody knew. The only person that knew was maybe the dog, because I could talk to the dog and dog keeps secrets. But I didn't speak to anybody. If I'd spoken to somebody, then I would have maybe, not even bothered with that walk up to that bridge. I might have been able to find another way of dealing with it, but I hadn't.
It did take me kind of a while to get used to the idea of being a person that's been to rehab. But now that I've done it, I just want to tell other people that is, I wish I could speak to her and go, it's so strong. It's so strong to get help. And look where I am now versus where I was then. It's so important not to judge your journey and to just do what you need to do.
When you hug yourself, for the first 20 seconds, your body doesn't realise that it's you. So you know, if you can't tickle yourself, obviously, but you can hug yourself, and your body doesn't register it's you, so it could be anyone hugging you. So I sometimes do that, like just give yourself a little hug, and your body just thinks it's someone else hugging you and just like supporting you for a moment.
Pete, we've known each other maybe only a couple of hours, and the conversations that we've had have transcended any conversation I've ever had with friends of mine that I've known for 20 years.
I could get in a taxi and be going to a location somewhere, and the taxi driver asks me what I do, and I tell him, and within 10 minutes that taxi driver is telling me all about his dark thoughts that he's been having that morning.
There's something about when dark times happen in your life, it changes you in a way that you're still the same person. I still feel like the same person is in there, but there's so many different layers now.
Dead Dad Club, yeah.
You've heard that before.
Yeah, Dead Parent Club.
Right, yeah.
Definitely. One of my friends recently lost their parents, and he was like, "Oh well, at least I get to be part of the club now." I was like, "Oh, it's okay here. It's okay."
Yeah.
We have deep chats,
Yes, but it's beautiful.
we talk about life.
It's an exclusive club. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it.
Wouldn't choose to be a member, but glad to be part of it.
Exactly. Beauty out of the absolute
Yeah.
horrificness. Where has life taken you from what could be maybe the most pivotal moment in your life?
When you've gone to the places I've gone to, all I want to do is help people now. That's the only thing that brings me true peace, is making sure that people have a little bit, even just a little bit, less pain than I had.
I now run my own women's circles in London.
Beautiful.
So I lead those workshops, and that's been really beautiful. But recently I wrote a play with the Kiln. So I was developing a play, and it was the first time I kind of spoke about my dad taking his own life.
Well, it definitely was pivotal, because if I'd gone one way, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But I chose to go the other way.
Genuinely, thank you. It's beyond appreciated.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's great. You know, and when you want to chat, you know where I am.
I'll take you up on that for sure. Top man, thank you.
Keep it there.
Love that. Genuinely, I think you deserve the absolute world. There we go. What a star. Thank you. I just hope that anyone who can even begin to relate to what we're talking about finds a thread of help, or a tool, or something that they can just pull on, and it helps.
I think that's exactly it, and remembering that there is always hope. Like, hope is always there. I love that thing of the thread. If we just know where it is, know how to look for it, know how to pull it, it's there.